Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and in this video we are going to revisit a recipe from September of 2019. It's my favorite chaffle, the pizza chaffle. One of the things that I've been working on this year is going back to some of my old YouTube video thumbnails and pictures on my website and taking new, better pictures with the hopes that eventually it'll wind up in a cookbook. Probably the worst picture I have ever taken, it is so unappealing, is the one that I did for my self-contained pizza chaffle. So yesterday I made that recipe again for the first time in a long time, and I don't know why I've waited so long because I really love this chaffle. Anyhow, I made the recipe, I took the picture, and then I thought, what else could I do? So I cooked up a burger patty made out of Italian sausage, melted some provolone on top of that, and then put it onto my chaffle along with some pepperoncini. Boy, oh boy, was it good. And that got me thinking, what else could I do to elevate this chaffle? And that's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to try a few things, starting with using my keto breading. It's just a mixture of cheese and pork rind panko. We're going to see if that can give us a nice crispy crust. Additionally, to see if I can get some sort of a crispy crust on the chaffle, I'm going to see what happens if I melt a slice of provolone in my Dash Mini before adding the batter. And finally, we're going to use my new favorite kitchen gadget / toy, the Stuffler stuffed waffle maker, and see what we can do with that. For starters, I'm going to make my breading. It's a 2-to-1 ratio of cheese and pork rind panko, just crushed pork rinds. So it doesn't really matter how much you make. I'm probably going to wind up making too much here. I've got 30 grams of pork rind panko and 60 grams of sharp cheddar. You could use mozzarella, you could use Parmesan, although that might be a little bit too salty. Then I'll pulse this for about 20 seconds or until it basically has the consistency of breadcrumbs. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to transfer this to a different bowl. And now we'll make the chaffle batter, starting with 1/2 cup or 60 grams of shredded mozzarella cheese, 1 tablespoon or 7 grams of almond flour, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. This was not in the original recipe. I just want to see what happens if it gets any lighter, any fluffier. 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1/2 tablespoon of tomato paste, and 1 large egg. I'll process this for about 20 seconds or until it comes into a nice, fairly smooth batter. It won't be completely smooth, and that's okay. Next, I'm going to add 8 slices of pepperoni that I've chopped up. In the original recipe, I used 12, but I find that that can get a little bit oily inside your Dash Mini. And we'll pulse that a couple of times. We'll set this aside while I preheat my Dash Minis. All right, for chaffle number 1, I'm going to sprinkle on the keto breading. Looks like about 2 tablespoons is the magic amount. And then half of my chaffle batter. Now, this is a very thick batter, so you kind of need to pat it around just a bit. Close the lid. This one I'm a little bit concerned about, just based on the size of the provolone. We'll see what happens. Let it melt down a smidge. Wow, that was pretty fast. And then we'll add the batter on top. Then we'll let both of these cook until they stop steaming. I can tell already that the provolone is going to be a little bit of a cleanup situation. It has been right about 5 minutes. They are barely steaming. Let's pop them out and get them to a cooling rack. Well, this is interesting. So you can see the darker top and the lighter bottom from the pork rind panko breading. This one's still steaming a bit. I'm going to let this go for a few more seconds. All right, let's get the provolone one. Kind of sticking, ouch, sticking a little bit or a lot. All right, oh, there we go. Got underneath it there. Pop that out. Then I'm going to let those cool for just a minute or two before we do the taste test. Now, I'm not sure about the wisdom of the provolone chaffle. You can see we're a little bit messy here. We're going to have some cleanup. Also, it looks like we got some oil going down into the cracks there. This is going to have to taste awfully delicious for me to want to be doing a cleanup like this on a regular basis. What I love about the pizza chaffle is it's not a chaffle pizza. It's not like I've got toppings on it, they're in it. And I found that the original really kind of reminded me of the flavor of pizza flavored goldfish. But let's see how it is now with the breading if we get that crunchy bottom. That is pretty awesome. The flavor really reminds me of when you get the baked cheese along the edge of a pan of lasagna. Wow, this is a winner right here. Now we'll try out the provolone crusted chaffle. It feels more firm than the other one. That really packs a lot of cheese flavor. The crunch on it is more like a crisp, though. It's more delicate than it is on the pork rind panko version. On the whole, it's still good, but I don't know that it's good enough that it's worth the cleanup effort on the Dash Mini. But now what I'm really curious about is how this recipe will work with the Stuffler. And I'm not sure what I'm going to stuff it with. I'm going to have to open up the fridge, take a little look. Probably do something different in each of the 4 quadrants, though. For the Stuffler, I'm going to try out something different in each of the 4 quadrants. For one, I'm going to use some Italian sausage. In another, some fresh mozzarella. The third will be fontina, and the fourth will be some Baby Bell cheese. For the Stuffler, I made a double batch of my batter. Same recipe, just doubled. And we'll split the batter. Again, this is sort of thick, so you'll need to pat it around just a little bit. Then our 4 quadrants. We've got the Italian sausage, the fontina, the Baby Bell, and the fresh mozzarella. Top it off. Close it up. Flip it over. And then we'll let it cook for about 8 minutes. It has been 8 minutes. Pop this open. Transfer this to a cooling rack. This whole ring thing, this is genius. It occurred to me that since I was doing 4 different flavors in 4 different quadrants, I might have wanted to do something to mark which quadrant was which, but I didn't. So we're just gonna cut it open and gonna be surprised. All right, quadrant number 1. Oh, wow. I think that's going to be my thumbnail right there. I'm not sure which cheese this is, but it sure is gooey. That is so, so good. I just got tingles down my spine. Here's the second quadrant. Look at that cheese. Oh my. Oh my. That one is even better. I wish I knew which one that was. All right, looks like this one is the Italian sausage. That was also really good, though the batter didn't cook up quite as well around the sausage as it did around the cheese. And the final quadrant, I'm thinking this is probably the mozzarella right here. Wow. This is sort of like heaven to a Wisconsinite right here. All four of those were so yummy. When I go to edit this video, I will figure out which one was which on the cheeses and list them numerically for you in the order that I tasted them, just so you can know which ones were the best. So I'm going to say, with the exception of the provolone crusted chaffle, this was a success across the board. You know, every time I make a chaffle, I ask myself, why do I not do this more often? They are so good, they are so fun, and the Stuffler, I tell you, I realize it's a new gadget, it's one more toy, but boy, is it a lot of fun, and I think the possibilities with it are pretty much endless. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe button, tap the bell, all that stuff. Over here, I will put the videos for both the original pizza chaffle, and you can see how far I've come in the last year and a half, 2.5 years, and down below it, another version where I used a corn dog maker to make sort of stuffed crust mozzarella stick type pizza thingies. There's probably a better name for that. Anyhow, check them out, and thanks for watching.